Alright, so we're talking workflow here in Lightroom 3, and the first thing we need to do is have some photos to work with. So I'm just going to import some personal work that I have here. We did some family pictures, and over here I always do my render previews at minimal. It'll make them import a lot faster, and I don't import suspected duplicates even though I always erase my cards after, and I always make a second copy to an extra hard drive I have. If you don't have an extra hard drive, you can get them for really cheap online, so I'd recommend it. And I usually rename my files, so just call these family, and I'll leave as is. And up here I always copy as a DNG, and you can leave them as raw files if you'd like. If they're not raw files, they can't be copied as DNGs, but DNGs are smaller and they also don't have a sidecar file, which is that extra file that tells the raw file what to actually be. So I like DNGs better. And then down here, I don't apply anything except for my copyright info, so you can set that up how you'd like. And then my destination is by folders. I just have subfolders here. I'll put this into my personal work folder, and then so it'll go down there and add that, and then just by date. And then I'll just hit import after everything's good. And that'll take a second to convert everything into digital negatives. Alright, so we've skipped ahead and all my pictures have been converted, and here they are. So the first thing I do, and if you lose your import, it's always over here under catalog, and it's your previous import. So if you click around and get lost, it's always under previous import. So the first thing I do is add keywords so that I can find stuff later. And these were for my wife's blog, and then if I have any other pictures, these are just random shots, and then all of these are family pictures. So I'm going to tag those as, let's see, to there, family photos, and then these ones just some personal work. So I've got my keywords, and as you'll notice, once you have keywords, they'll kind of auto-populate, so then you can just type them in, and that's nice and easy. So now I can find stuff, and it'll be nice and organized in my catalog. So the first thing you should do, add your keywords, and you can see you can have as many keywords as you want. So there's all my keywords, and that's good to go. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the very top, and we're just going to go into the single photo mode, and I'm going to create a collection for these photos. Well, actually I can leave them in all photo mode. So if you've never used collections, it's the best way to organize in Lightroom, and I didn't know this right at first, and it's a huge time saver. So instead of just using the folders like you would in Windows, these collections make it really easy. So I make a collection set for each of the major kind of shoots I do. So I have one for seniors, weddings, events, families, and all that good stuff. So to create a collection set, you're first going to go right here and create a collection set, not a collection, and it's going to pop up, and make sure the set's none, and then you can do, say, weddings. And so you're going to type in weddings and hit create, and then it'll pop up like that. And then the next thing you're going to do is have another subfolder. So since I'm doing personal work, I'm going to have, I had the dinosaur museum, but I'm going to create another collection set and name it Lion Family Photos. And I want that to go under personal work. And so when I do that, I have another collection set, and it's empty, and it's under personal work, and that's perfect. So if you're making one for weddings, name the entire shoot something, and then I'm going to go back to my previous import, and I'm going to do Control A, and what I'm going to do is throw all of these photos into that collection. So Control A and then Control N will create a new collection. Now this won't create a collection set, so we're going to put it inside the set that I just created, so the Lion Family Photos. And I'm going to differentiate by saying, this is the full shoot, or you can say all pics or all photos, and you're going to say include selected photos. So once we create that, now you can see that I have my Lion Family Photos, and then I have the full shoot. And this makes it really easy to organize because you can keep creating collections inside of your set, and you can have, you know, the full shoot, the best ones, and it just makes it really easy to organize. So like for the dinosaur museum, I have the full shoot, but then I have my favorites picked out. So now we can go in and pick out our favorites. So what I used to do, and I'm actually just going to start with the family photos, is I used to go through and, you know, decide, oh, this one's 3, and oh, this one's, I think, maybe a 2, and oh, this one's a 4, and I'd sit there and debate what every number should be, and that took up a huge chunk of time. And I mean, you can sit and say, oh, is this a 3 or a 4, and you can think about it for 5 minutes, but that's just going to waste all your time, and I used to sit there and do that for every photo. But then, you know, Lightroom has a lot of tools to make it easier, and I thought, well, really, it's either photos I'm going to keep or photos I don't want to see. So to make it easier on myself and save a lot of time, I now use the flags. And you can see these 2 little flags right here. If you don't see them, click the arrow and click on flagging. And so you can use your mouse by flagging it as a pick or rejecting it, or not having a flag on it at all. So what I do is the ones I like, or the ones that I want to show to a client, I'll flag as a pick, and then the ones that I hate that are blurry and out of focus and that I don't even want on my computer, I'm going to flag as an X, and or flag as rejected, and I'm going to delete those off my computer. And then the other ones that are just sort of okay, I'm just going to leave and not do anything with. So I go through, and there's keyboard shortcuts, of course. P for pick, which is really easy, and then X for reject, and then if you mess up, you can undo it with U, and that will remove all the flags on it. So you can hit U. So P, X, and U, and you can just go through really fast and say, you know, oh, that's a keeper, that's a keeper. And then if you see something blurry, you know, you can hit X and set that as rejected, and you can get rid of those off your computer entirely. So I'm going to go through and flag all of these. Alright, so I went through and flagged all of my picks, and what you can do now is go back to the full library mode, and what you're going to do is filter. And so you can just do flagged, and this will show all the flagged photos. So you can see there, and it got rid of all the other ones. And before we do anything else, we can get rid of those rejected photos. So the ones that were blurry, that you hated, that you pushed X on, you're going to go into photo, and you're going to say delete rejected photos. Now, if it's your first time, it might ask you if you want to remove them permanently, but I've already checked yes, so it's going to remove them off my hard drive and from Lightroom. So I'm going to say remove, and they're gone. So all those rejected photos that you hated are out of the way, and now since you're just on your flagged photos, you can hit Control A and then Control N again, and these we're going to call my picks since we just picked them, and we're going to put that in that same set in the personal work, and we're going to include the selected photos. So now the great thing about this is I still have my full shoot, and I still have my picks, and they're just in separate folders, and I know where they are, and now I can go through and edit my picks, and instead of worrying about the full shoot, but I still have a backup, you know, of the full shoot just in case. Now, a lot of you might have just realized how incredibly convenient that is, and that you're never going to deal with the stars again, but I do use stars for one thing, and that is to keep track of my favorite images through all my entire catalog. So if I just have an absolute favorite, I actually rate that as a 5. And then, you know, if I ever need to get my best images, I can do a search in my library for just the 5 stars. So I do like to star my very best images that I just absolutely love, and I'll put a 5 on them, and that way I just know throughout my entire catalog, my favorites, they're always going to be 5s. So you can use something similar. But now that we have our picks folder, we can get down to editing. So however you like to edit, you can go into the develop module, and you can select all of them. I like to use auto sync to speed things up. So it might just say sync right there. Just click the little button. It'll go to auto sync, and you'll just start cranking away. If you like to use the auto white balance, it'll apply it to every single photo that I have selected. Or if you like to stick with just as shot, and then you can make adjustments and go from there. So I usually like a little strong contrast. So however you like to edit them, you're going to go through, edit every single picture, and now it's just going to be a breeze. And the good thing about this is, since they're just collections and you're not actually working with the actual folders themselves, you can delete a picture. So say, oh, I really didn't want that picture. You can hit delete, and it's not going to take it out of Lightroom. It's just going to remove it from the pics folder. And so say I delete another one, so now I'm down to 102. It's still going to be in the full shoot, which is great. It's just not going to be in my pics. So I can do edit, undo, remove from collection, and undo, remove for the other one. So just so you know, you can delete any of these photos. It'll just delete them out of the collection, which is great news. And then sometimes I narrow it down further. So say these are my pics, but I want to make a slideshow or something, so I want the best of the best. You can go through and do the same thing. So what you're going to do is just go through and flag as picked, and then since you don't need to reject any, since you've already rejected your worst ones, you can just flag your best of the best and just hit P on those and just the ones that you love, and go through and make your slideshow images. And then once again, go back into the library module, go back into the full thing. You're going to filter the flagged images, and then you're going to hit Control A, which will select all of them, and then do a new thing, and then you can say slideshow, and you're going to put it in that same set. And then you're going to hit create, and then there you have your slideshow images. And then once again, if you accidentally put one in there, you put too many, you can hit delete, and it takes it out of your slideshow images, but it's still in your pics folder. So again, a great way to organize your shoots. You can do as many of these as you want. If you have a wedding, you can narrow it down into the full shoot, engagement. You can do the engagement session, the dinner, the venue, and you can break it out as many times as you want and have all your photos nicely organized and edit them like that. And that's basically all I do. It saves a ton of time. And then once I'm done, say I want to export my pics, since they're all in DNG and no customer can really use those, I export as a JPEG. So I usually just export to my desktop and a specific folder. I usually say client DVD, and then you can rename it to whatever you'd like, and then I keep it as a JPEG with a full file size. Unless you're just giving them a low quality image, you can resize to fit 3 megapixels, even down to 1 megapixel, which will be perfect for those Facebook photos. And then you're good to go. Hit export, and make sure you select all the photos. Right then it would have only exported that photo, so make sure you export every single photo, hit export, and you're good to go. And with those tools, you'll save a ton of time forgetting about the stars, thinking if an image is 3 or 4 stars, and you'll be ready to rock.